Your health is too important to wait. Schedule your DASH scan today at Advanced Medical Imaging. Visit amimaging.com or call 402-484-6677 to learn more.
Billy Currington is back on tour. Friday, June 13th, Pinewood Bowl Theater at Lincoln's Pioneer Park. Live in concert. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com.
Mike, the insurance company wants us to replace the roof.
Wait, what? I thought everything was fine.
Yeah, it says right here our roof is too old and they won't be able to cover us anymore.
I guess it is 15 years old. Hi, I'm Austin with Roofing Service Company. We help homeowners with their roofing and siding projects. Financing options are available, and we can get you under a new roof no time at all. If this sounds like you, visit roofingservicecompany.com. That is roofingservicecompany.com.
Attention all Wings fans, Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays enjoy 40% off boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.39 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Wings and Rings today, 68th and O or in Williamsburg Village.
Are you a fan of local wine, craft beer, cider, or spirits? Don't miss SIP Nebraska's 12th anniversary celebration, May 9th and 10th at Mahoney State Park, and join others who share your passion for great drinks. Enjoy unlimited tastings, live music, delicious food, artisans, and lawn games as you celebrate Nebraska's vibrant beverage industry. And when you find one you love, you can buy a bottle to take home. Choose your ticket package at sipnebraska.com. The SIP Nebraska Spring Festival, a Blur event, May 9th and 10th at Mahoney State Park in Ashland.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
This is it, Husker fans, your final chance to see Nebraska baseball at home this season. It starts Tuesday, May 6th with a huge rivalry matchup against Creighton. Then it's a Big Ten showdown as the Huskers host Michigan May 9th through 11th. Every game matters and your support can make the difference. Great seats are still available, but they're going fast. Get your tickets today at huskers.com/tickets or by calling 1-800-8-BIG-RED.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait. Apply now.
Early break.
Weird things that freaks me out. Unleaded gas still. It says unleaded. There hasn't been leaded gas for 40 years. Why does it say unleaded gas? It should just say gas. There hasn't been leaded gas since the 70s. It freaks me out, but it should just say gas. You can pick, you can pick what, like we have this, we have the premium, we have
with Steve Sipple, Jake Sorensen, and Bill Bush from 6 to 9 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. On the block with Eric Strickland, Jay Foreman, and Austin Orman.
The goal for those coming on the road, let's go get that first. And then here's what'll happen. There'll be you'll kind of be lackadaisical. Instead of keeping that energy, why not two? Instead of keeping that energy, you'll probably see just a little bit more ease of play because in the psyche, we did what we came to do.
Every weekday from 3 to 5 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. This is 93.7 The Ticket.
Look at me, sure. Look at me, sure. I'm the captain now.
Three-time national champion Vershawn Jackson.
Touchdown. Vershawn Jackson, number 34, gets the touchdown.
Husker Hall of Famer Terrell Farley.
Defending Terrell Farley, who last week in his first start was a holy terror, number 43.
And Jake Bakoven.
Wine, cider, or spirits? Don't miss SIP Nebraska's 12th anniversary celebration, May 9th and 10th at Mahoney State Park, and join others who share your passion for great drinks. Enjoy unlimited tastings, live music, delicious food, artisans, and lawn games as you celebrate Nebraska's vibrant beverage industry. And when you find one you love, you can buy a bottle to take home. Choose your ticket package at sipnebraska.com. The SIP Nebraska Spring Festival, a Blur event, May 9th and 10th at Mahoney State Park in Ashland.
This is the Adam Carriker Show.
Position right of the quarterback, out of the shotgun, 1st and 20. Jailbreak screen in the air. It is tipped. It is intercepted by Carriker at the Missouri 21-yard line.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, 8-year NFL vet and All-American defensive lineman Adam Carriker.
Shotgun snap to Everett. He's got the left arm going, and now he's got a whole lot of Adam Carriker who rips him down inside the 25-yard line.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Adam Carriker.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to hopefully another glorious edition of the Adam Carriker Show. All right, we don't know now, you know, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Central Time. Grab your lunch. Come join us. Nebraska softball, by the way, is in the middle of mollywhopping Penn State, 7-1. Jordy Ball on the mound, doing her thing. Nebraska softball looks rock solid so far, at least early on in the stages of this softball game against Penn State. Hopefully they get the victory. Move on to Friday. Hopefully we see them in the championship game of the Big Ten tourney on Saturday as well. They look good so far. But the Adam Carriker Show, what you're going to hear, Husker sports, college football, and sports in general, which you're going to get unique insight and bridled honesty. And producer Jake and I are going to have a whole lot of fun in the process. You guessed it. It is a loaded show. And we are bringing back Carriker's Trivia Challenge. When should we do that, Jake? At the top of the hour, maybe?
Yeah, that sounds like a pretty good time. You're fighting the Pelini line right now. It looks like you're 10-4-1. So one way or the other, you're going to go above or below Pelini.
You rat bastard. I don't feel like that was a compliment. Pelini, good football coach. I feel like that was a little bit of a jab there.
Yeah,
Maybe
so we all love the Pelini years by now, don't we?
Well, that's a fair point. That's a fair point. It's funny how hindsight is 20/20 sometimes. You know what I mean? I was going to say I'll take you on, but you came up with the questions, and so also you know the answers. So maybe someday I'll put you on the spot for Carriker's Trivia Challenge. But ladies and gentlemen, at the top of the hour, Carriker's Trivia Challenge will be back. Simply call in. We'll bring you on air. You get 3 questions. I get 3 questions, and you have the opportunity to win a prize. In the meantime, we'll keep you updated on what's going on in Nebraska softball game. We got a bunch of things to talk about. Come across a couple of articles now, a lot of the post-spring football, top 25. This player is going to stand out. That player is going to stand out. Excuse me. Who's going to be a surprise team? Who's going to be, a really good team, whatever the case may be. I've seen a lot of these things, and I've seen a lot of the Big Ten quarterback rankings. And I consistently see Dylan RAIOLA in the top 5 of these Big Ten quarterback rankings heading in to next fall. So we're going to chat about that. All right. Is this a fair spot to put him? Does he need to finish in the top 5 or even higher in order to validate being such a highly sought after recruit from the moment he's come in, making that appropriate year 2 jump? What are our thoughts on that? We'll chat about that. Trae Taylor, quarterback commit. All right. Got 2 years of high school left. Doing a lot of peer recruiting. And he talked about his peer recruiting and tried to, it's like he almost sees his job now as to get as many good players to come with him as possible. It's frankly hard not to like this kid. When he did his announcement, when Jake and I talked about it, he had a little fun with it, threw the hat, put on the Nebraska hat, threw the other hat. I think it was the Illinois hat. Some fans got upset. He put out an apology video, seemed very, very genuine, something he didn't have to do. But if you just kind of pay attention, it just seems like a good kid. Like he's getting up at 5 a.m., 6 a.m., doing these workouts, doing Zoom calls, doing everything he can to get better. How do you not root for a guy like this beyond the fact that he just, committed to Nebraska, but just in general? Seems just like a good kid. All right. Going to be here in about 2 years. All right. Although Matt Rule's, as we know, the job of recruiting high school kids really never ends, even after they commit, because every other coach under God's hot son is going to be like, we got 2 years to change his mind. But from what I see right now, like you can tell Trae's like, I need to bring as many people to Lincoln with me as possible. So that's exciting. We're going to talk about his peer recruiting as well. But right off the top, this is not like the 100 men versus the gorilla debate that we had, but it could be kind of along those lines in some alternate universe way, shape, or form. Because I randomly came across this graphic. Big Ten fan survey rankings of the head football coaches in the Big Ten by wrestling ability. Who do you think was like, who do you think they had at the top, Jake?
I would have to think Brett Bielema would be the
Have you
favorite.
seen this?
I have not.
You nailed it. It's Brett Bielema, number one. All right, hold on. Before we divulge the whole list, and Jake and I, I don't know, we'll argue. We'll have some fun with this. We'll argue. Unless he just nails the whole list, and then that'll kill the whole debate part of this. But send us your thoughts, comments. Who do you think would be like some of the better wrestlers amongst the Big Ten football coaches right now? What's that phone number there, Jake?
402-464-5685.
I like doing stuff like this because it's just fun. Like, again, the 100 men versus the gorilla thing that kind of took off across the nation, honestly. I saw a podcast talking about that would never in a million years talk about that. But it just kind of caught everyone's attention. I will say this. My issue with all the AI simulations that I saw, I don't know, like 5, 6, 7, however many it was. I never once saw an AI simulation of what would actually give the humans a chance. It was always just the gorilla going from human to human, ripping off a head, ripping off an arm, tossing the body 1,000 feet in the air. Like, no. It's got to be 100 people rushing the gorilla at once, or like 99% of you are still going to, die, but maybe one can survive. I never saw an AI simulation that way. And it just never gave the humans a chance. And I know to say I'm in the minority would be extremely kind. I'm in the vast minority. We don't have to revisit this whole thing, but I'm in the vast minority because most people just think there's no universe. There's no world where the humans can win. I do think there's a world where the humans can win. Not in the humans' favor, to be clear. Not in our favor. I'm not even sure how you could hurt a gorilla with just your bare hands, other than just exhaust the thing and flat out wear it out over time. But I do think there's a world where it could possibly happen. But, all right. So you had number one, head football coaches by wrestling ability. Let's go reverse. Who would you have last? Who do you think the fans had last on this list? And you can bust out a list of the 18 head coaches if you want, Jake. I don't know if you've got one in front of you, but who would you put last?
Well, I think Kirk Ferentz is getting older, up there in age. I might go with Kirk up there.
He's towards the bottom. He's 16th.
Yeah.
Age is a fair thing. I do think he'd I may say this with all due respect, he'd have like that old man strength.
He might, yeah.
Like he would just surprise you. But he is older. Maybe the movement wouldn't be quite as fluid. All right, they got him at number 16. Who else would you have in that range?
I like to row the boat, but I know others don't. Is PJ Fleck near the bottom?
No, he's actually in the top half.
Oh, good. Okay,
he is in the top half. I'd put him in the top half. Who else do you think is just near the bottom?
Boy.
Where do you think they have Kurt Signetti? Because this dude could cut a WWE promo now.
I was going to say, I would think they'd have Kurt Signetti pretty high. I mean,
bottom
the guy,
half.
Google him.
Bottom.
He wins.
Just Google him. He's at number 0. He's so far ahead of everybody.
Bottom half.
He is in the bottom half. I think it's due more to age, probably. Number 11. They had him at number 11.
Is Ryan Day last for? Remember watching the Michigan Ohio State fracas? He was just watching.
Well, didn't he kept at what happened? What happened? Or something like he had no clue or something like that. Ryan Day's at number 9. Just barely made the top half. Have we gotten any responses to this on the text line at all?
Phil says James Franklin last.
Where do they have? They have him 13th. Did you watch the press conference, Penn State, Notre Dame, going into their semifinal matchup, where James Franklin basically tried to big boy Marcus Freeman, the Notre Dame head coach, tried to big brother? Like he kind of talked over him, and he definitely talked a little bit down to. It wasn't overt. It wasn't like, hey, let me tell you something, little guy. But it was definitely like when you're having a conversation with somebody and one person is definitely controlling the like he definitely had that tone to him. And I didn't watch the whole thing, but I just saw parts of it. I'm like, wow, I wonder if anybody else notices this. And I went on about my day. And as the day went along, I started, and it wasn't like it blew up. Okay. But I would just see people who were there just be like, man, James Franklin really tried to big boy or big dog or whatever terms they use, Marcus Freeman, and just kind of came across that way. And I remember watching Marcus Freeman. He just kind of had this look like, okay, whatever. Like the little brother annoyed at the big, well, normally it's the big brother annoyed at the little brother, but it was like that role, but in reverse, just like Marcus Freeman. Like it was definitely annoying him, but he wasn't going to feed into it type deal. All right, so James Franklin, they have at 13. All right, so we'll kind of go through it. At 18 is Lincoln Riley.
Yeah, Lincoln Riley last year.
At 8, I think that's, how do I put this? It's definitely not an age-related thing.
No.
I think it's a little bit of the California perception and maybe the appearance of his physical stature and how that comes across. Does that make sense?
He's a little wiry, yeah.
Yeah, he's a little wiry. I never knew if this was real. He had his top 5 pass catchers left, okay, during the December, January transfer portal window. And there was a video out there of him crying. And the headline was Lincoln Riley cries after his top 5 pass catchers leave. Now, I never followed up because I genuinely couldn't tell if it was really him or an AI generated video. And it's so hard to tell the difference nowadays. I was just like, I can't tell. I'm not interested enough to follow up. But I think that's how people perceive him. That someone would, I don't think it was real. But even if it was AI generated, somebody was like, hey, this is something he could realistically do possibly. I see this guy in this light. All right, Lincoln Riley at 18. Jed Fish of Washington at 17. I'm going to be honest, I don't know enough about Jed to waver an opinion there. Kirk Ferentz at 16. I feel like that's the guy that would show up with the older guy strength and maybe pull off an upset or two along the way and surprise people. He's the guy that gets more out of his players than just about anybody else, so why couldn't he get more out of himself? You know what I'm saying? This one is definitely too low. Jonathan Smith, the Michigan State head coach, former Oregon State head coach, former Oregon State quarterback. Now, is this a slight at quarterbacks?
It appears to be. There are a lot of different positions, obviously former players around the Big Ten, but it does seem like the quarterbacks are being targeted here at the back end.
And maybe it's the offensive-minded guys. Lincoln Riley, Jonathan Smith, Barry Odom. What are your thoughts? I don't know enough about Barry, to be honest with you, as far as well, you got any thoughts on Barry at 14? I don't.
I think that's the first linebacker off the board, right? Matt Rule, linebacker. We got some linebackers in the league, so that's a former linebacker you're putting there low on the list. Just warning you.
I feel like that's disrespectful. That's disrespectful to the LBs now. I like that you said off the board. I like that terminology, by the way. All right, James Franklin at 13. I do feel like he's got a little bit of pent-up anger. Did you see him, like, verbally go after one of the fans after the spring game at Penn State?
It's like a tradition now. He does that almost every game.
He said it's a tradition. I feel like James Franklin's got a little bit of pent-up anger. Okay.
By the way, he's a former quarterback.
I actually did not know that. He is.
So he played quarterback at East Stroudsburg.
Okay, I mean this respectfully. Is that a college or a high school? I don't know.
East Stroudsburg plays in NC Division II.
Okay, so that's a college. All right. I was going to say, I was a high school quarterback. So how far are we going back with these positions? I was just stopping at college, but okay, that's a college. All right. I feel like Franklin is a little low on this list. I feel like he's just got that pent-up anger, to a degree, and I feel like it would come out in a situation like this. All right. Has anybody mentioned where Matt Rule should be yet on the text line? Have we got any other stuff from the text line yet?
Not yet. The only other thing we've got here, 2396 says Cignetti would be a good manager like Jim Cornette or Paul Heyman.
Ooh, definitely a mouthpiece. Oh, for sure. Dude, Cignetti versus Paul Heyman on the mic. I was going to say, who would you take? You got to take Paul Heyman, but like that would be awesome. That would be awesome. At number 12 is Matt Rule.
Okay. That's the lower half of the league.
Yeah, how do we feel about that? Because he's a guy that tries to build his programs on toughness and physicality. He's a former walk-on, Penn State guy, linebacker. Is it he's a little bit older than some of these coaches? What are your thoughts here?
I just don't love it. I mean, we still got Dan Lanning on the board, Luke Fickell. I mean, I think there's some guys Matt Rule could take, respectively. So I think this is a little low. PJ Fleck still up there? Yeah, I'd probably favor Matt Rule in a wrestling match against PJ Fleck.
So I was about to say, PJ Fleck's at 8. Like, if we did like a tournament and there were buys, I could see an 8-12 matchup with PJ Fleck and Matt Rule. All right, you would take Matt Rule in that because PJ's definitely younger and he's got a little bit of spryness about him, a little bit of swagger. Yeah. Who would you take?
I would take Matt Rule. I think Matt Rule just has more. I mean, he's, again, the linebacker background. He's just, I think he could. Got the little bit more of the weight advantage. I don't know if that's true. I'd have to look it up, but I think Matt Rule would have the advantage.
You know what I could see happening? Because Minnesota, year after year, we talked about this yesterday on the show. We're 1-7 against them the last 8 years. What if we lost 4 in a row, 5 in a row? I don't know. I don't want to talk about it.
5 in a row, yeah.
Yeah, I said I didn't want to talk about it after I asked you, in fairness. Okay, here's how I see PJ Fleck in this. I see PJ Fleck like the nature boy Ric Flair, in the aspect of if it's not going his way, distraction to the ref, low blow. I could see that, and he finds a way to win. So if it's an outright fair matchup, I take Rule. But I think PJ Fleck, in this fictitious world that we're having fun with, don't go too far with this, that he could be like the dirtiest player in the game, like Ric Flair, and he just finds ways to win. I could almost see that happening. Kurt Cignetti at 11. Oh, how do we feel about Cignetti ahead of Rule? Oh, right in front of Rule. That's a dagger. How do we feel about this?
Well, yeah, I mean, he's 63 years old, and he was a former quarterback instead of a linebacker. But man, he does seem to have that. What do you call it with parents? Old man strength, or
Old man strength.
Yeah, I mean, I would not want to get into a scrap with Kurt Cignetti, so I'm almost fine with it, just because of the way he comes off.
Dude, I would take Matt Rule in that matchup. I would. I would take Matt Rule over Cignetti. All right, David Braun, Northwestern head coach at 10. I feel like that's a decent spot for him. I certainly wouldn't put him lower. Like, he's a younger guy.
Yeah, what is he? So he's 40 years old, former defensive lineman. Yeah, checks out.
Well, I mean, I got to be honest. If he's a D lineman, he should be like top 1. I'm just saying. No bias here. All right, Ryan Day at 9. Here's a controversial one. Right behind PJ Fleck, I might add, at 8. All right, Ryan Day at 9. What are our thoughts about this, Jake? What do you think here?
I just think that's too high. I mean, I don't mean this in any disrespect, but Ryan Day just does not come across as somebody. I mean, I suppose I don't really want to fight anybody because I'm not a fighter either, but I just don't. This is a little high for me for Ryan Day. I don't really have a reason. Former quarterback, former linebacker as well. So he kind of checks out both those boxes, but he was still born on third base. So
you just had to say it again, didn't you?
That's right.
To be clear, wrestling. All right. This is not Mortal Kombat, ladies and gentlemen. This is wrestling. If they were to wrestle, Ryan Day's a tough one because, yes, okay, born on third base as a head coach or whatever. He's also he has faced more scrutiny than any other current head coach in the Big Ten ever since Jim Harbaugh left. It's been him and him alone. I don't even think it's close. And yet he found a way to have success. Obviously, an insanely talented roster, but he helped put that roster together. He helped keep it. He brought in the coordinators that are both now gone. I think we're actually going to learn more about him as a head coach this year specifically without Chip Kelly, without Knowles, who are at the Raiders and the Nittany Lions, now the OCDC from last year. What can Ryan Day do as a coach? Because what he did last year, he admitted he went around fundraising after he hired Knowles and Kelly to run the offense and defense. And then he basically spent a lot of time bringing in a couple of guys. All right, Caleb Downs from Alabama, the center from Alabama, who ended up tearing his Achilles, but still won the Remington Award. All right, the Quinshon Judkins, the running back from Ole Miss. Weren't they both drafted in the second round, by the way? Travion Henderson, Quinshon Judkins.
Yep.
Not bad. A 1-2 punch of 2 second-round picks in your backfield. And he not admitted, but he's like, this is basically what I did. And they put together the best roster in America. They've got a lot of talent coming back. Probably the best offensive player in America, Jeremiah Smith. Probably the best defensive player in America, Caleb Downs. Yet they got to replace 8 of 9 trench starters. All 5 offensive linemen and 3 of their starting 4 defensive linemen. That's a lot to replace, along with a new quarterback, new running back, new wide receivers, although they do have Jeremiah Smith back, obviously. So we're going to learn more about Ryan Day. I feel like he's the guy that upon first impression, you're going to be like, 9, really? But then when you start to think about everything he's been through and the mental toughness that he's shown, and frankly, the class that he's pretty much handled it with, how do we feel about Ryan Day ahead of a Kurt Cignetti, a Matt Rule, and a James Franklin specifically? Based on, to be clear, head football coaches in the Big Ten by wrestling ability.
I still just can't get the vision out of my head when all the fracas was going on with Ohio State and Michigan, and he just stood there and watched. So that's kind of what my mind is going on through this wrestling tournament. I'll say this: he might be fine, but if you place that wrestling tournament in Ann Arbor, look out, he's in trouble.
Just hey, coach, here's third base in Ann Arbor. Good luck getting home. All right, PJ Fleck again at 8. I feel like PJ's the guy that dirtiest player in the game. He'd grab that steel chair from time to time. He'd go with the growing shots. He'd find a way to move on each and every time, whether he should or not. All right, Maryland head coach Mike Loxley, number 7. All right. Dan Lanning, Oregon's head coach at number 6. Now we're kind of getting into these top 6 guys. I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on Loxley out of Maryland at all, real quick, before we go to the top 6?
Necessarily. I mean, he's definitely got some of the best size of the group. He
Yeah.
was a former defensive back. Well, I might surprise you there, considering how big he is now.
All right, Dan Lanning, number 6 he's definitely got youth on his side.
Yeah.
He's not a small dude. To be frankly honest with you, I was a little bit surprised he wasn't higher on here. Luke Fickell at 5. Luke Fickell versus Dan Lanning. Dude, who would you take in that matchup? 5 versus 6.
I feel bad for Lincoln Riley still, because I think it's like he's built the same as these guys.
He is not built the same.
Well,
he is not built the same.
I'm saying they're not that much. They're kind of just standard. They're not too big, too small, anything. They're just kind of skinny, lanky type of fellers. And for some reason, these guys are putting top 5, 6. He's buried at 18.
With Lanning and your team's got to play tougher. Like, a team is a direct reflection of the head coach's personality. In fairness, all right.
Well, Wisconsin, yeah, won 5 games last year, but I mean, Fickell was a nose guard, right? He could maybe turn it back on from his playing days.
Do we like that he played at Ohio State? Does that help him in this scenario or not?
He's willing to turn his face or heel at any time.
He'll turn heel on him. Oh man! All right, let's see. I personally, in that, I think I would take Fickell. Fickell has that. I've never met him, but he just has I'm not saying he's a mean guy. He has like that demeanor. Like, he could turn real quick into that mean guy. Whereas Lanning's kind of that. I mean, he believes in the trenches, believes in toughness. All right. That's where he started building Oregon, as opposed to most Oregon coaches have built him from the outside in. He built him from the inside out, the trenches out, instead of the wide receiver DBs on in. I'd have to give Luke Fickell the slight edge. This is where it gets really interesting, the top 4. Greg Schiano is as hard-nosed, blue-collar, in-your-face, smash-mouth an individual as you can get. Now, he's a little bit older. He's at number 4. Deshaun Foster, UCLA great. Former NFL running back for years at number 3. Sharon Moore at number 2, which is ironic because when we went through the list of top Big Ten coaches yesterday, they had him at 14. But apparently they believe in his wrestling skills, and at number 1 is Brett Bielema. All right, the top 4. We got about 2 minutes here, then we got to head to break. We'll wrap this up. What are your thoughts on the top 4? Greg Schiano at 4, Deshaun Foster at 3, Sharon Moore at 2, Brett Bielema at 1. Who would take this? Who would take the tourney?
Now, from the beginning, I said Brett Bielema. I think he stands out as the favorite in all of this. You've got Sharon Moore at 2. I think you could have an argument there, like you're kind of saying. I would probably be more scared of Greg Schiano in a dark alley. So it's kind of interesting to break it down. I'd probably put Schiano number 2 behind Bielema myself. And with all due respect to Sharon Moore, again, I like to look at their playing days. He did play some guard as well at the University of Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
We all know the Oklahoma. He's purposely going to play in that game. So,
yeah.
So but I'd have to slide him a little bit backward. And I think Mike Loxley's got to move up a little bit.
Hard to argue with much of that. My eyes keep going to Deshaun Foster, pulling the upset. I got Deshaun Foster and Luke Fickell cheating his way to the championship match, and Deshaun takes down Luke. Not Luke Fickell, PJ Fleck. PJ Fleck, I'm sorry. PJ Fleck. I said Luke Fickell. PJ Fleck cheating his way to the championship match, dirtiest player in the game, rowing the boat. Deshaun Foster in the championship match, and I got Deshaun Foster off the top rope. 5-star frog splash, getting the pin. All right. Who'd you have winning again?
I like that. I do think Deshaun Foster could make a run there, but I still got to go with the favorite. I think Brett Bielema. Let's go with Bert.
All right. Last thing I got. What are the oddest tag teams that you could come up with? Like, these two coaches don't belong together. Let's tag team them together right out the gate. PJ Fleck and Matt Rule. Boom. That's my oddest tag team that I could come up with outside of Michigan and Ohio State's head coach. That was too obvious. So I went to the next most obvious. Who you got is the odd, weird duckling tag team duo of Big Ten head coaches here?
I think maybe Kirk Ferentz and Deshaun Foster, kind of a different ages type of deal. I think that could be unique. Deshaun Foster would have to do most of the heavy lifting, but Kirk could lend an ear.
Ooh, Lincoln Riley and Deshaun Foster. Like the guy who's way at the bottom, teamed with the guy that I have winning the tournament, crosstown rivals. Ooh, that'd be an interesting one there. All right, who else could we pair Matt Rule with that would just be kind of an uncomfortable pairing for our amusement and entertainment?
I think PJ Fleck is pretty much the tag team partner nobody wants. So
nobody wants.
Pretty much anybody in PJ Fleck makes for an awkward tag team.
I was going to say Kurt Signetti would be the other one for Matt Rule. That'd be the other one.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Anything off the text line before we go to break?
Old Dad 34 says Matt Rule at 8. So
Okay.
that's where he'd have him.
I do feel like he's a little low. He's a little low. All right, go ahead.
Like that. Husker P says Day would beat you with his beard dye, which apparently, according to his wife, he's never dyed his beard. But
somebody sounds defensive, but go ahead.
Yeah. And then 7453 says, "Give me Foster all day long."
Ooh, all right. We're on the same wavelength there. We're on the same wavelength. All right, ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more shenanigans.
Mike, the insurance company wants us to replace the roof.
Wait, what? I thought everything was fine.
Yeah, it says right here our roof is too old and they won't be able to cover us anymore.
I guess it is 15 years old. Hi, I'm Austin with Roofing Service Company. We help homeowners with their roofing and siding projects. Financing options are available, and we can get you under a new roof no time at all. If this sounds like you, visit roofingservicecompany.com. That is roofingservicecompany.com.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills Global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Attention all Wings fans. Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays, enjoy 40% off boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.39 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Wings and Rings today, 68th and O, or in Williamsburg Village.
Take control of your health with the DASH scan at Advanced Medical Imaging. The DASH scan is a full-body MRI designed for advanced health screening. This dynamic approach provides exceptionally sharp images across multiple organ systems, helping to detect potential concerns early. With minimal radiation and no invasive procedures, the DASH scan offers a safe, comprehensive look at your health. Plus, results are delivered faster than ever, giving both patients and physicians confidence in screening and diagnosis. Your health is too important to wait. Schedule your DASH scan today at Advanced Medical Imaging. Visit amimaging.com or call 402-484-6677 to learn more.
At Valentino's, we're on a mission for tradition. On every slice, for every bite. Golden baked crust, cooked to perfection every time. Savory sweet sauce that's made from our own secret recipe. Loaded with the perfect amount of fresh toppings and melty mozzarella cheese. It's the tradition that Nebraskans have come to love. From game day to every day. Valentino's. Taste the tradition.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just their professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, their passion, for happier, healthier, furry friends.
Billy Currington is back on tour. Friday, June 13th, Pinewood Bowls Theater and Lincoln's Pioneer Park. Live in concert. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com.
Shopping for new flooring is different today. Getting your questions answered, making the right selection, getting the best value, and installed quickly and professionally. Visit OStreetCarpet.com or shop our store. We'll answer all your questions and help you make the right choice. You'll be enjoying your new floor in just days for less than you'd pay elsewhere. Carpet, vinyl, wood, laminate, tile, and area rugs. We've got it all. O Street Carpet. 1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Hi everyone, Kendall Warnock, A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. Spring is here. Summer is fast approaching. With weddings, vacations, and weekend getaways on your mind, do not let car issues prevent you from getting where you need to be. Car problems shouldn't be something that you put up with. Let us get you back on the road in comfort and safety. We diagnose all makes and models from Porsches to Hondas, Toyotas, and Chevrolets. We fix a variety of issues with all of them with our talented techs and our experienced staff. A1 Automotive at 11th and L, downtown Lincoln, always honest answers.
Hey Husker Nation, this is Todd Euler, two-time national champion, here to talk to you about Window World Lincoln. At Window World, we specialize in replacement windows, doors, siding, and roofing. Whether you're looking to enhance the beauty of your home or increase its energy efficiency, we've got you covered. And here's the best part. We offer the best for less. Our team is dedicated to providing top quality products and exceptional service at affordable prices. We want to earn your business and make your home improvement dreams a reality. So why wait? Contact Window World Lincoln today at 464-7313 or visit our website at windowworldlincoln.com. Window World Lincoln, where quality meets affordability.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road, just south of 14th and Highway 2.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Adam Carriker Show, where you never know what the heck we're going to talk about. That topic was not even on the docket until literally I'm like not ready to walk into the station. All right, and to be clear, just to reiterate, it was not Fight Club. No Fight Club in here. First rule of Fight Club is there is no Fight Club. Those were supposed wrestling matches. All right, we started to talk yesterday. Ready to go quick, so we're going to kind of put a little button on it and expand on it today. Nebraska's wide receiver room. All right, and why they could potentially, I mean, there's a lot of position groups that could make big leaps this year from the offensive line. I'm excited to see what the tight end group as a whole. I'm like, seriously, what does Holgerson do with Nelson and Harburg? Where do they go? How does he use them? Does he do some 12 personnel? Can he contain himself with the right receivers we got? How often do we go 13 personnel? It doesn't appear as though fullback is in the repertoire anymore, does it, Jake?
No.
No, that's all right. Like, I'm just curious to see how some of these things unfold. There's a lot of position groups that can make big leaps this year. The secondary on defense can make a big leap this year. All right, just finding those levels of consistency. I love what Joey Harrington said yesterday about Dylan. He didn't even say more yards per throw. He didn't say higher completion percentage. He didn't say throw for more touchdowns. He said raise the floor. In other words, of the bad things that can go wrong, make them happen a whole lot less. Like, move the chains, throw it away, and live to fight the next down when it's appropriate. Avoid the big mistakes. Raise the floor. For a true freshman last year, I thought Dylan played just fine. I know some people are like, oh, he's a 5-star. He should have been this. He should have been that. You can't speed it. You can't just zoom around it, the learning curve. You have to go through it. That's part of the process. He did pretty much exactly what I thought he would. He showed moments of really, really good play. He showed moments of, I'm 19 years old and I still need to learn and go through this and get better. And now this year, hopefully you see the benefits from that. The improvements, the progress, the increased level of consistency, and the floor being raised. I'd love the ceiling to be raised. His ceiling is through the roof, literally, you know. But the floor being raised is something that would be huge. But the wide receivers have an enormous potential to potentially be the most improved position group on the entire Nebraska football team. So we talked about this a little bit yesterday. Give your initial thoughts again, Jake, or if you got some new thoughts you want to expand on them just a little bit, and then we can dive into it just a smidge more.
Well, obviously, it's huge for Dylan Raiola to get the help of these wide receivers, and hopefully, obviously, this group has the potential to help out quite a bit. But something that kind of caught, and I don't want to take this a whole different way, but it was just kind of, you mentioned the Joey Harrington interview. Something that caught my ear was, again, when he said that his goal going, I think, into his junior season was to hit on 60% of his passing completion percentage, and how times have changed with that. And I was just looking back at that. Dylan, for a freshman, 67%. I remember Taylor Martinez going through the same thing. That was about a decade after Joey, but it was like the goal was to try to get to 60. And now there were 3 guys in the Big Ten with a 70% completion rating: Will Howard, Dylan Gabriel, and Will Rogers. And there were 12 over 60%. So it's just kind of interesting to see how that's changed over the years. And with Dylan, like you said, all these kind of different goals that he should have, and with having this new wide receiver core in, I would assume he's shooting for 70% this year since he was so close last year.
It was funny when he said times are. I remember 60% being pretty good.
Yeah.
There's a lot more RPOs, short passes, screens, things of that nature that go on now. So obviously it's going to raise up the level of the completion percentage. Do you remember when we played the clips of Cam Ward and Shadur Sanders talking trash to each other while they were, training or whatever? This was like January, February, a couple months ago. And Cam Ward kept saying, all you did was check down, check down, check down. If I'd have done that offense, I would have completed 90% of my passes. And so that was kind of his rebuttal to things that Shadur was saying to him at the time. So the completion percentages and the offenses, I feel like now the completion percentages are higher, and also the offenses when it comes to efficiently moving quickly, take advantages of deficiencies in the defense, they are successful at a much higher rate as offenses have continued to evolve. The RPO puts the defense, if it's ran quickly, it's read properly, and ran efficiently, it puts the defense in an almost unwinnable position. If the linebacker comes down to help on the run, you hit the right wide receiver right over the top for a 5-6 yard completion. It's an easy dink. I don't want to say dink and dunk, but it's an easy completion, almost like Bill Walsh West Coast-esque. His whole idea was get it within 4 or 5 yards of the line of scrimmage and make you tackle us in space, and then you'd get big plays. Because teams that would play the Niners, especially back in the 80s, they'd say, all right, they're going to complete the ball for a 3-4 yard catch. Let's tackle them at 3-4 yards and end it there. Stop the run game. There's some incompletions, penalties here and there, and that's how you would try to stop the Niners. Obviously, the Niners won multiple Super Bowls in the 80s, had a lot of success, but that's kind of what the offenses have evolved to in the RPO type game now. And if the linebacker stays at depth, you hand the ball off to the running back, you got the numbers game. Because now the running back's 5-6 yards away from the ball, 4 or 5 yards away from the ball. He hasn't gotten downhill yet, which is the number one thing you want to do in the run game to stop the run game. So if you can effectively do these things, and Nebraska doesn't necessarily run a ton of RPO with Dylan, but that's why the completion, one example, screen passes, things of that nature. Okay. Yards after catch and just get the ball into your athletic playmaker's hands out on the perimeter. Like those types of plays are the reasons the completion percentages have gone up. Didn't Joey say in his first year as a starter, I think it was a sophomore, his completion percentage was somewhere in the 50s, like 56 or something like that?
Yeah, I'll double check where it was at. But like you said, that wasn't all that uncommon for quarterbacks.
That was very common. So you remember going into last year, my goal for Dylan, and keep in mind 2 years ago, our quarterback room combined, all right, completed 51% of their passes in Matt Rule's first year, and they had 3 times as many interceptions as they did touchdowns. So my goal for Dylan going into last year was very simple. Complete at least 60% of your passes, knowing that was very doable. All right. But at least 60, because that would have been almost a 10% increase for Nebraska, and he did more than that, to be honest with you, and have a 2-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio. That didn't quite happen. 13 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. After 6 games, going into that first bye week, the Indiana game, he had 9 touchdowns to 3 interceptions. It was really the last half of the year where defenses made adjustments, and we weren't able to find the answers, all right, in time for some of those games in the second half of the year. I believe those are things that the coaches will learn from, they'll improve from. Obviously, there's some new coaches here capable of making their own adjustments at this point in time. But for me, when it comes to Dylan, I looked, and other than the 2-to-1 touchdown interception ratio, he pretty much did almost everything I was thinking before the season, and his completion percentage was even higher than I knew. I was like, man, in my back of my mind, I'm like, I'm going to say 60, because I don't want to ask a lot of a freshman. Just don't make the big mistake. Do the things to move the chains. And that's why I said what I said. But yeah, with Joey, you got to keep in mind that Oregon offense was pre-Chip Kelly. That was Mike Bellotti. Remember Coach Bellotti at Oregon? Yeah. He's really the one that kind of built them, because before him, they didn't have, I'm not saying the uniforms were the key to their success, but before him, they had I grew up in the Northwest, the ugly green and yellow puke colors. You remember that Rose Bowl they played versus Penn State? 95 New Year's Day, 94 season when they went undefeated. They had like the yellow helmet. I think it was like the OU on the side with the angry Daffy Duck out the side.
Yeah.
It was awful. I was like, oh, it was awful. And then Mike Bellotti comes and they started messing with the uniform combinations, et cetera, et cetera. My point is, this is pre-Chip Kelly. It's really as they were kind of evolving into the 4 billion uniform combinations that they came up with, but it was very much a pro style offense. It wasn't the RPO. They had Achilles Smith, okay, in the mid to late 90s, but they weren't really known for running quarterbacks at this point. There was no Marcus Mariota and guys like that at that point yet. It was more Joey Harrington type guys. It was much more of a pro style offense, which is basically, power right, power left, counter right, play action pass type deal. It wasn't built on high completion percentages type offense. It was your very much old school pro style of offense back in the day. Coming back to the wide receiver room, some of the other things. Like the projected starters, okay, Dane Keene, Isaiah Hunter, Ja'Cory Barney, those are kind of the three that are projected in there. Do you think Nebraska is going to come out with like 2 starting wide receivers, 3 starting wide receivers right out the gate? What do you think here? Because we got 3 guys I think a lot of people believe can play football really, really well. Then you look at the tight end room and you got Lindenmeyer, the projected starter. You got Harburg and Nelson, all these guys you can do. Like, I think Nebraska is going to have a frequent changing of personnel, different sets, different formations, whether it's 12 personnel, 13 personnel. We're not going to see 21 because not a lot of fullback unless let's find our Ty Robinson, put him in the backfield again. But outside of that, what would they call that? The monster formation or something like that. Outside of that, I think there's going to be a lot of changing and moving parts because they've got the guys to do it. But do you think we come out the gate with like 2 starting wide receivers, 3 starting wide receivers? Do we see a surprise? Does Janarian Bonner step up as a potential starter here? Surprise somebody? Cortez Mills. What are your thoughts here, Jake?
I mean, we could certainly see, certain, game plans with Bonner maybe being more in the slot if you're going to run a little bit more and use him for the blocking. So we'll have to wait and see kind of what they do with personnel. But I mean, that's the thing is like Dane Keene, Isaiah Hunter, and Ja'Cory Barney especially, even if he's not going to factor into the play, he's a great decoy on any play or something that the defense has to look out for. So, you don't necessarily want to keep him off, get him off the field. You don't want to. And there's going to be games. I think Nebraska might not go undefeated this season. And in those games, we're going to be, well, they should have got him the ball more. They should, because that's the gift of having so many weapons. Is there's going to be times that we can kind of point it out, but it's going to be hard to spread the ball around. I think this year with the amount of weapons they have, but especially those top 3, just tough to take them off the field.
How dare you say Nebraska might not go undefeated?
I said might.
How dare you, sir? All right. So you talk about some depth in there. All right. Janarian Bonner, we've mentioned him. Demetrius Bell, Quinn Clark. I hope Demetrius is feeling good coming back from that knee injury because he was looking good. All right. A year ago before he got hurt in that spring game. And as we've talked about in the past, you got some freshmen that can potentially step up. Isaiah Mosey, Cortez Mills. The coaches seem to think the world of him. You look at the tight end position. All right, Nebraska is going to be evaluating the status of Mac Markway as he recovers from last season's ACL injury. There's a couple other guys to keep your eye on. Most people are watching Harburg. Most people are watching Lindenmeyer. Dude, Mac Markway was a guy highly touted, highly recruited, went to LSU, unfortunately gets hurt. Is there a world where he comes back and this dude is healthy, he's an impact player, and now we're like, all right, we got 2 good tight ends. We got 3 good receivers. We got guys you can move like chess pieces. Or am I just hyping myself up because I want to and it's May? What do you think here, Jake?
No, they've got pieces to work with. I mean, it is a little bit. I do feel what you're saying too, because I thought this last year when you kind of look at some of you can get yourself talking into, of course, Banks and Nair, and they didn't like live up to the expectations. Tight ends, you could argue what kind of happened there last year, but yeah, I mean, it is. You kind of get this feeling. We still have to wait. None of these guys are all big, all conference. So as much as we get excited about it, there is room to grow for them.
One question: blocking on the perimeter. We're going to be better this year. I would honestly be astoundingly surprised if we're not noticeably better blocking on the perimeter for multiple reasons. It's about attitude, effort, and buy-in. These guys appear to be bought into me. It's clearly going to be focused on by the coaches, a little extra focus to a lot of extra focus. And so I would be fairly surprised if we're not noticeably better at blocking on the perimeter. All right, quick softball update. Nebraska, the 3 seed, leads the 11 seed. Penn State Nittany Lions 8-1. All right, looks like we are on the bottom of the 5th inning. Is that Ava Kuzak at bat? Yes, it is. All right, 2 balls, 2 strikes, runner on first and second. I don't see the outs. Where are the outs at, Jake?
Yeah, I don't know. See what they have them listed either.
Oh, she just got a hit.
There's 2 outs.
There's 2. Oh, we got to run it 9-1. All right. See, I need to watch more often. They score every time I watch. The one time I've watched while we're doing the show, they've scored. That's all me right there. I just want you to note that, Jake. All right, Nebraska's up 9-1 over Penn State. We're going to take a break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Billy Currington is back on tour. Friday, June 13th, Pinewood Bowl Theater and Lincoln's Pioneer Park. Live in concert. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait. Apply now.
Hi everyone, Kendall Warnock, A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. Spring is here. Summer is fast approaching. With weddings, vacations, and weekend getaways on your mind, do not let car issues prevent you from getting where you need to be. Car problems shouldn't be something that you put up with. Let us get you back on the road in comfort and safety. We diagnose all makes and models from Porsches to Hondas, Toyotas, and Chevrolets. We fix a variety of issues with all of them with our talented techs and our experienced staff. A1 Automotive at 11th and L, downtown Lincoln, always honest answers.
Hey Husker Nation, this is Todd Euler, 2-time national champion, here to talk to you about Window World Lincoln. At Window World, we specialize in replacement windows, doors, siding, and roofing. Whether you're looking to enhance the beauty of your home or increase its energy efficiency, we've got you covered. And here's the best part. We offer the best for less. Our team is dedicated to providing top quality products and exceptional service at affordable prices. We want to earn your business and make your home improvement dreams a reality. So why wait? Contact Window World Lincoln today at 464-7313 or visit our website at WindowWorldLincoln.com. Window World Lincoln, where quality meets affordability.
Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road, just south of 14th and Highway 2.
At Planet Fitness, we're declaring it. This is the year of getting stronger, and you can get started now by saving when you join today. We have all the best in-class equipment you could ever need, and you can work out your way on your time at any convenient location near you. Most open 24 hours. So let's do this. Join Planet Fitness today and save. Just $1 down, $15 a month.
Find your nearest club and join today. Deal ends Friday, May 16th.
See Home Club for details.
The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Your new Total Wine in Lincoln has the largest selection of wines, spirits, and beers, plus totally low prices and friendly service from our helpful guides. With over 8,000 wines, 4,500 spirits, and 2,500 beers, you're sure to find your favorites and something new. You can even order delivery, in-store, or curbside pickup. Find what you love what you find, only at Total Wine and More. Now open in Lincoln next to Gateway Mall.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills Global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
It's the best time of the year to order a new John Deere air seeder during Landmark Implement's Fast Start Early Order program. Take your seeding performance to the next level with John Deere's advanced air seeding technology. Achieve precise seed and fertilizer placement, optimize emergence, and cover more acres with less downtime. Now is the time to lock in the best price of the year during Landmark Implement's Fast Start Early Order program. Contact your Landmark Implement for full details and experience the Landmark difference.
John Henry's has a brand new membership club to protect your entire home in one program. With a VIP and a deluxe option, we will help you find the plan that best fits your needs. Receive discounts on services and equipment, priority service, complimentary inspections, and so much more. Protect your home's plumbing, heating, cooling, and electrical systems all in one membership. Call John Henry's to learn more.
435-5555. John Henry's Plan.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just their professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, their passion for happier, healthier, furry friends.
Shopping for new flooring is different today. Getting your questions answered, making the right selection, getting the best value, and installed quickly and professionally. Visit ostreetcarpet.com or shop our store. We'll answer all your questions and help you make the right choice. You'll be enjoying your new floor in just days for less than you'd pay elsewhere. Carpet, vinyl, wood, laminate, tile, and area rugs. We've got it all.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Boom! Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show here at 93.7 The Ticket. All right, Nebraska softball officially run rules Penn State 9-1 to move on to the next round of the Big Ten tournament. All right. Do we know who they play next, or do we need to see who wins a particular game there, Jake?
Yeah, I believe that'll be decided today. Let me double check to see the schedule.
All right, while you're looking at that, anything off the text line real quick?
We did have a couple thoughts from the text line. IQ Crew says, I was driving during the topic, but Dan Lanning screams Chris Jericho vibes. Also says the sneakiest and dirtiest tag team is Fickle and Day.
The former Ohio State lineman and the current Ohio State head coach. I feel like that's a scenario where they get to like the championship match of this fictitious, awesome tag team tournament that we've cooked up here. And I feel like Fickle would turn on Day at the very end and be like, I should be the head coach at Ohio State or something like that. All right. Do we know who softball's got next there by chance?
So, yeah, they're the Game 5 winners. So they'll play the winner of Game 6, which will be the next game on BTN around 1:30. UCLA and Indiana. Keep in mind, UCLA, the 2 seed, pretty darn good team.
Yeah, we only played them once this year. Came up short against them, but it'd be great to have a rematch. And that game would be on Friday, correct?
Yeah. The other games today are Oregon and Michigan and Ohio State and Purdue.
All right. Yeah, I'd love to get another crack at UCLA. I think I pointed this out the other day. We're the 3 seed. The 1 and 2 seed are Oregon, UCLA. So if those frickin' West Coast schools hadn't infiltrated our conference through the back door, we'd have been a Big Ten champs already this year. That's all right. We'll just win it outright on the field. That's on the diamond. On the diamond. All right, that's the attitude I'm going to go with. All right, anything else real quick off the text line? We got to keep this segment short. We'll come back at the top of the hour. But anything else real quick there, Jake, before we head out and get ready for hour 2?
Well, Bill and Bennett found this 4-foot-long bull snake in his compost. He said he sent a picture of it, so that scares me because I'm afraid of snakes. But 1922.
What does that have to, I mean, that's awesome. What does that have to do with anything?
Oh, that has nothing to do with it. Bill Bennett just sent it just to scare us, I think.
So real quick. I won't say who this is because this individual would be very unhappy if I attach their name to this. I have known this individual for a long time. I do not like snakes. Okay? Do not like snakes. If there's a spider in the house, pretty much everybody in the house freaks out and they come get me. I don't know why. Well, it's a spider. Chill out. But snakes, I'm the one that freaks out. And this person has mercilessly given me crap for years about this. Think Indiana Jones. Like, I don't run from them screaming like, oh my yeah, but I'm just like, I don't like snakes. Like,
yeah,
snakes. Why'd it have to be snakes? The old Indiana Jones movie. So we go to the Omaha Zoo. We do some behind the scenes stuff, and they bring in a snake. So it's our group. I got to speak vaguely. If I say too much, it will give it away. Everyone in the group, including me, petted the snake. No problem. The person who did not was the person who has mercilessly given me crap for years about being scared of snakes. Oh, not scared, but just don't like snakes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you have been exposed. And I have not let go of it since. And they're starting to get tired of it. So maybe I'll let it go. Probably not. At least not yet. It's not done being funny to me yet. Like, I'm like, you did this to me for years. You've now got years coming at you because you've been exposed. I don't know. Is this fair? Is this fair or not?
No,
Jake?
I think that is fair. You got to be careful what you're making fun of people for if you've got that same weakness.
I just stared right at this individual like, you seriously won't? Are you kidding me? All the crap you've given me over the years, and you're the one that won't go pet the snake. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead, Jake. I mean to interrupt you.
Oh, you're all right. One more comment here. Johnny Cortland says Bill and Bennett has no rat or mice issues. I would love to have that bull snake at my place. So there's that. 1922 says, as far as what Nebraska's going to come out in, he would like to see a tight end reverse. He also said I'd come out 3-back I formation that Dr. Tom ran.
Well, first of all, love it. Second of all, not going to happen. Although, what if just to throw everybody off, Holgerson drew up this first play that he's never going to run the rest of the year and just runs it for one play just to screw with defensive coordinators going forward. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as always, you can text in. We will be doing Carriker's Trivia Challenge here at the top of the hour. All right, what's that number again, Jake?
402-464-5685.
For now, I'm going to do nothing, and we're going to play some ads, pay some bills, and then we'll be back. We'll flap gums, have some fun, and do our thing. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Shopping for new flooring is different today. Getting your questions answered, making the right selection, getting the best value, and installed quickly and professionally. Visit ostreetcarpet.com or shop our store. We'll answer all your questions and help you make the right choice. You'll be enjoying your new floor in just days for less than you'd pay elsewhere. Carpet, vinyl, wood, laminate, tile, and area rugs. We've got it all.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
At Planet Fitness, we're declaring it. This is the year of getting stronger, and you can get started now by saving when you join today. We have all the best-in-class equipment you could ever need, and you can work out your way on your time at any convenient location near you. Most open 24 hours. So let's do this. Join Planet Fitness today and save. Just $1 down, $15 a month.
Find your nearest club and join today. Deal ends Friday, May 16th.
See Home Club for details.
Spring sports are here and it's time to upgrade your equipment. But don't go rushing to your big box store. Play It Again Sports is your place to go for all spring sports equipment for baseball, softball, golf, and disc golf. Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And don't forget, buying from them is a great way to get new products with great discounts by also bringing in your used items for store credit or cash on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Are you a fan of local wine, craft beer, cider, or spirits? Don't miss SIP Nebraska's 12th anniversary celebration May 9th and 10th at Mahoney State Park and join others who share your passion for great drinks. Enjoy unlimited tastings, live music, delicious food, artisans, and lawn games as you celebrate Nebraska's vibrant beverage industry. And when you find one you love, you can buy a bottle to take home. Choose your ticket package at sipnebraska.com. The SIP Nebraska Spring Festival, a Blur event, May 9th and 10th at Mahoney State Park in Ashland. Schwizo Construction is now hiring for skilled craftsmen, steel erectors, concrete workers, and general laborers. Schwizo Construction offers great benefits like premium wages, health and dental insurance, paid holidays and vacation, 401k with company match, life insurance, and disability insurance. They pride themselves on a legacy of 40 years built on integrity and trust. Joining their team means becoming part of a family that values hard work, dedication, and mutual respect. Apply today at schwizow.com. That's SCHWISOW.com.
John Henry's has a brand new membership club to protect your entire home in one program. With a VIP and a deluxe option, we will help you find the plan that best fits your needs. Receive discounts on services and equipment, priority service, complimentary inspections, and so much more. Protect your home's plumbing, heating, cooling, and electrical systems all in one membership. Call John Henry's to learn more.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
And electrical.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Your new Total Wine in Lincoln has the largest selection of wines, spirits, and beers, plus totally low prices and friendly service from our helpful guides. With over 8,000 wines, 4,500 spirits, and 2,500 beers, you're sure to find your favorites and something new. You can even order delivery, in-store, or curbside pickup. Find what you love what you find. Only at Total Wine and More. Now open in Lincoln next to Gateway Mall.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Hi everyone, Kendall Warnock, A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. Spring is here, summer is fast approaching. With weddings, vacations, and weekend getaways on your mind, do not let car issues prevent you from getting where you need to be. Car problems shouldn't be something that you put up with. Let us get you back on the road in comfort and safety. We diagnose all makes and models from Porsches to Hondas, Toyotas, and Chevrolets. We fix a variety of issues with all of them with our talented techs and our experienced staff. A1 Automotive at 11th and L, downtown Lincoln, always honest answers.
McKinney's Irish Pub in the Haymarket is your place for English Premier League soccer. On Saturday, May 10th, Wolves plays Brighton at 9 a.m., followed by Bournemouth versus Aston Villa at 11:30 a.m. On Sunday, Man United plays West Ham at 8:15 a.m., followed by Liverpool versus Arsenal at 10:30 a.m. Liverpool currently leads the standings with 82 points. You can find all this and more at McKinney's Irish Pub in the Haymarket, your place for English Premier League soccer located at 8th and P.
It's the best time of the year to order a new John Deere air seeder during Landmark Implement's Fast Start Early Order program. Take your seeding performance to the next level with John Deere's advanced air seeding technology. Achieve precise seed and fertilizer placement, optimize emergence, and cover more acres with less downtime. Now is the time to lock in the best price of the year during Landmark Implement's Fast Start Early Order program. Contact your Landmark Implement for full details and experience the Landmark difference.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
This is the Adam Carriker Show.
Position right of the quarterback, out of the shotgun, 1st and 20. Jailbreak screen in the air. It is tipped. It is intercepted by Carriker at the Missouri 21-yard line.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, 8-year NFL vet and All-American defensive lineman Adam Carriker.
Shotgun snap to Everett. He's got the left arm going, and now he's got a whole lot of Adam Carriker who rips him down inside the 25-yard line.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Adam Carriker.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome into hour 2 of the Adam Carriker Show. Quick updates. Then we're going to get to Carriker's Trivia Challenge. You know what, real quick. Carriker's Trivia Challenge is back. It is upon us. All right, simply call this number. What is that number again, Jake?
402-464-5685.
Never changes. All right. Be the first person to call in. We'll bring you live on air. You get 3 questions. I get 3 questions. You get to battle yours. Truly, we changed the tiebreaker. What did we change it to? I don't even remember. We actually made it so it made sense. What did we do differently?
I think we're just going to like who's closest on it, like on the last one instead of over under.
Instead of the rules where it was completely not in my favor that you came up with. I remember that. All right. So call in. Be the first person to call and bring it live on air. Have a little bit of fun. You versus me. And you got your chance to win a prize. All right. Couple of quick updates. Nebraska offensive lineman Grant Segrin commits to transfer to Oklahoma State. Wish him nothing but the best there. Lexi Rodriguez is in the mix for the U.S. Volleyball Nations League, a roster spot. Now, she just finished her college career a few months ago, as we all know. I played for Love Volleyball recently. He made it all the way to the championship game after being the lowest seed going into the playoffs. All right, their playoffs this season. All right, now, as we all know, libero, 4-time All-American. Now, she was selected for the pool of 30 players for the U.S. team for the 2025 Volleyball Nations League, the world's premier annual international tournament. All right, Rodriguez recently has spent time training with the team out on the West Coast. Now, they bring teams together from around the world, the VNL it's called, all right, the world's top 18 teams for 3 weeks of preliminary play, with each team competing in 4 matches per week. Then the top 8 teams will earn a spot in the final round. From the pool of 30 players, 14 will be selected each week for the roster to compete at each of the different stops that they have. All right, let's see. Now, Rodriguez, there are other former Huskers on the roster as well. Jordan Poulter, Avery Skinner, outside hitter and setters, respectively there. Dana Rettke, who was a middle blocker as well. Some of the other players on the U.S. roster are from Stanford, Penn State, Texas, Stanford again, Texas, Sarah Franklin from Wisconsin, the 89-time All-American, give or take a couple in there. All right, the U.S. women's team is currently ranked 3rd in the world. All right, they've won the VNL 3 times since the VNL started in 2018. So best of luck to the U.S. team, to Lexi Rodriguez. It looks like she will be participating in this as well. But it was interesting. I had a story pop into my head, and I'm curious what people's, if someone wants to call and do Carriker's Trivia Challenge, go ahead and do that. Whenever we get a caller, we'll bring it live on air, have some fun. But it's interesting to me because we're kind of talking about certain things, and I have a story I don't think I've ever told. So I'm going to pose a question. Like, what are some of your biggest fears? Is it heights? Is it deep water, tight spaces, dark, tight spaces? I don't know. Whatever your biggest fear is it your mother-in-law? Is it something or someone else? All right, let us know on the text line. The reason I brought that up, kind of the snake thing kind of came in randomly due to the comment, which brought on the snake story, and someone who just recently got exposed that I now get to give endless, merciless crap to. All right. But I used to have a really bad fear of heights. And part of that was big man, small airplane, don't like heights. Several things about that wasn't great for me. But I had no choice but to kind of get over it, just because flying all over the place with teams. I'll never forget when I first got to Nebraska, there was a particular player on the team who really did not like heights. This person would borderline wail on flights sometimes. And I remember one flight, like nobody was sitting next to this individual on the road. This person laid down. It was basically just wailing through turbulence. The flight attendant came over and was like, are you okay? And he kind of like, because I'm fine. Like, is she like, just trying to do her job, but he's trying not to freak out. I was never quite like that. I had a couple of very unique experiences with going back home to the state of Washington during like spring breaks, summer breaks. I'd go back and forth between Lincoln and the state of Washington. And for whatever reason, the 2 worst flights I've ever been on in my entire life happened to be back to back. I don't know how many flights I've been on in my life, a few hundred, but they happened to be back to back. And legit, this one flight, it felt like a roller coaster ride. It's exactly what it felt like, just up and down and up and down. That wasn't the worst. As bad as that was, there was like 3 teenage girls behind me who decided to treat it like a roller coaster ride. And they were having the time of their lives. And woo, and all this hands in the air. I don't know what was worse, the plane ride or the girls behind me. I just about lost my mind because I do not do well with that. The way home, it was a mini roller coaster ride. It wasn't quite as bad. Like if you've been on big roller coaster rides, like it wasn't quite as like a big roller coaster ride, but it was like a medium-sized roller coaster ride, which is way more than any necessary respectable amount of turbulence should ever be on any given airplane. And then the girls behind me were kind of driving me nuts a little bit. But my wife, has anybody texted in yet at this point? about their biggest fears out there?
Not yet.
Okay. If somebody texts and let us know what some of your fears are. Okay, what they are, who they might be, whatever the case may be. My wife wanted to go skydiving, and we were still dating at this point. And we've actually, this was years ago. She turned 21, and we've actually connected with the guy who did the tandem dive with. You're basically hooked to, like, I don't know if it's the instructor or the person who's going to make sure that you live through this experience, whatever they're called. We've actually randomly connected with them like a decade later on Facebook. Like, hey, I was the guy that, went with Angie on the dive out of the airplane and all that. So we've kept in contact. But I set this up for her birthday. And so we get there. It's a surprise. So we get there. She finds out what we're doing. And they're like, they show her a video. They're teaching her how to use the parachute. They're showing her everything she needs to know to be safe. Which, obviously they need to do this for safety reasons, for legal reasons. But really, it's going to be the guy that's with her instructor, that's really going to make sure she's okay in this ordeal. And I remember they come up to me, and first of all, I exceed the weight limit. The weight limit for the parachute is 250. I'm like 290, whatever I was at that point in time. So I exceed the weight limit. But they give me the parachute, and they're like, you have to wear this. I'm like, okay, that's fine. And I kind of go to put it on. I don't really know what I'm doing. They're like, here, I'll just do it for you. You're not going to need this thing anyways. So they put it on me, and it's on, and I exceed the weight limit, and I have no idea how to use this, but it's not going to matter. You get on the plane. I mean, this is a 3-4 person plane. This is not big. This is a small plane. So you got the person flying the plane. You've got the instructor who's attached to Ange, and you got me. Now, my job is to take pictures with her camera. She's big into pictures. She takes probably over 1,000 pictures a month. Randomly, people will just randomly hire her to take pictures out of nowhere, even though it's not what she technically does for a living, just because she does a good job. She loves doing it. But I've been entrusted with her new fancy camera. I'm supposed to take pictures. So we go up. You get to 10,000 feet. That's where you're supposed to jump out. So they open the door. And so now I'm on the part of the plane where the door is not open, but I'm looking straight out at where they are. They're basically hanging on the side of the plane. I'm taking pictures. I'm doing whatever. And they jump. Okay, they're going down. All of a sudden, the guy flying the plane flips the plane. So instead of it being horizontal, it's like vertical. And now, so I'm showing it to Jake. So I'm sitting here, looking here. Here's the door. The door is open. They jump. He immediately flips the plane. Do you see the problem with this?
Yep.
I am immediately flipped so that I'm staring straight down at 10,000 feet of earth through an open plane door. And I'm freaking out. And I don't think the guy knew. And and then he starts circling. So what he told me later, because yes, I did survive, shocker, is he wanted it to make it so I could watch as she went down. All I can think is I'm going to fall through this freaking wide open door because gravity is not my friend at this point, because I'm directly above it looking down the way he's got the plane positioned. And I'm just like freaking out because honest to God, if I let go, I'm going through the door and I don't know how to use this parachute, which is for a 250-pound person, not a 90-pound guy. And yeah, there are there was protocols that Angie was supposed to know. I didn't actually pay attention. And so I'm just like freaking out and I'm yelling and I'm screaming. It felt like an hour or an eternity. It was probably just like 10 seconds. Finally, the guy levels out the plane. And then finally we land. And I'm just like legit hyperventilating. We land. We're still like a few seconds go by, 5, 10, 15 seconds. The guy turns around and looks at me and he goes, I probably should have told you I was going to do that, huh? I was like, yes, that would have been great to know. And then he goes, that's when he told me. I was like, I was just trying to make it so you could see her. She was fine. She had a chute. She knew what to do. She had an instructor. I had none of the above. Just about to lose my ever-loving mind. And so we landed before them. So she finally lands. I'm like taking pictures or whatever. I put the camera away. She wasn't really paying attention to me. She finally comes over. She had a blast. She wants to do it again. She wants to do a solo jump at some point. So I finally relay the story to her like an hour later. Do you know what her first question to me was when I told her about fell out of the airplane through the open door? She goes, is the camera okay? She was concerned if I dropped the camera, admittedly a nice, brand new, expensive camera, but she was concerned about she goes, I can see you're okay. I was like, it's the point. It's the point of the thing. What's funny is I've come a long way with heights. I don't know how many flights I've been on. Actually, I could see myself. I don't know what the weight limit is for parachutes now, if it's still 250 or whatever. As you know, I'm 270, so maybe I'd have to lose 20 pounds, which I frankly would not be excited to do that again. But I actually could see myself jumping out of a plane with the appropriate equipment and the appropriate instructions and maybe an instructor with me. I could actually see myself jumping out of an airplane now.
You do it now, yeah.
Would you ever jump out of a plane?
I thought about it. I've seen people, because I like the thrill of it, but I've seen that people, even if they do land, sometimes kind of messes with their back. So I'm just getting older. I might not want to do it anymore.
You're not even 40.
I know, but I'm worried about my back.
How many surgeries have you had?
Well, I've got
no, don't point to your pinky.
Wrist. Yeah.
Don't point to your wrist.
I've also had a traumatic brain injury before, so I wouldn't want to land wrong.
Okay, all right, fine. You bust out quality reasons to not do it, I guess. Way to go. All right. Anybody text in? No, nobody's scared of anything, apparently.
Oh, we got a few texts.
Okay, what do we got?
6658 says swimming in the ocean.
Deep water is not something I'm a fan of. It's not the water, it's what might be in it.
Yeah.
I saw somebody the other day, they go, Adam, you're not scared of heights or falling, you're scared of the abrupt stop. Accurate. Very accurate. Anybody else?
Mr. Cubs says it's a tie between snakes and clowns.
Oh. Mr. Cubs, have you ever seen the movie It? How do you feel about the movie It? I've never seen it, actually.
Haven't you?
No, I've just seen the cover.
Yeah.
No. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on clowns in the movie It?
Well, I don't want to spoil it, but he's a special clown. So
well, I kind of put that together. Just clowns. What are your thoughts? I've never gotten why some people don't like clowns or they're scared of clowns. I know it's a real thing for a lot of people. I've never personally experienced it. What are your thoughts on clowns, Jake?
Well, maybe as a kid I could see being afraid of a clown, but after a certain age, you get to the point like that's a guy, I could fight him. It's not, a big giant clown maybe, but I don't know.
Get PJ Fleck to hit him in between the legs. We'll take him out here. All right, anybody else got anything?
We did have one more. Aaron G says Alien Abduction. The movie Fire in the Sky traumatized me when I was 13.
I've never seen the movie Fire in the Sky, but Alien Abduction, it kind of excites me because I'm like, oh, what's going on? What do you guys really like? And then I'd be terrified, I think.
All right, now we got him coming in. Hammond Bean says eye surgery. You're awake and see the whole thing.
Ooh. Oh, what's the name?
Hammond Beans.
Have you ever had LASIK? I've had LASIK, and I was honestly very concerned. I've worn glasses. I have pictures of me in the 6th grade. It legit, like they're Steve Urkel glasses. Okay, they just are. They're ginormous, and I hated them. And then I wore contacts. I have dry eyes, so contacts made me miserable. So I always wanted to get LASIK. When I first went to St. Louis, I was like, I want to get LASIK, but I was terrified because I'm like, what if they screw it up? There's 2 things in life I don't want to lose physically above anything else. You can figure out what one is. The other is my eyesight. Like, I really don't want to lose my eyesight. All right. And I got LASIK, and honestly, it was a 5-minute procedure. My wife watched it from another room. I had to wear things over this is 18 years ago or whatever. I was 23 for 48 hours, and I was good to go. And honestly, I saw better with the LASIK than I ever saw with glasses, ever saw with contacts. Now, they did warn me. They said in about 15 years, you're going to need what they call re-up, or you're going to need an adjustment. And they're about right. About 18 years later, I'm kind of like, yeah, things aren't quite as clear as they used to be. I just haven't gone in to go get it fixed. But anyways, I want to know if they've ever gotten LASIK, thought about getting LASIK. Who else?
Let's see. 8543 says, I was afraid of heights because I fell off an 18-foot roof and shattered my heels, but not very bright and still do construction. Find myself up there a lot.
Shattered heels. That sounds painful. Oh, sorry to hear that.
Bill and Bennett says a silverback gorilla would scare the crap out of me.
What if you got 99 friends with you?
And Alan and Lincoln says dying in a fire, house or car.
Fire that'd be a rough way to go. I won't argue with that. That'd be a rough way to go for sure. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to, we will get back to Nebraska football. We just started talking about snakes off a random comment on YouTube. You legit never know where this show is going to freaking go. All right. We had the Big Ten coaches who are the best wrestlers. That was the opening segment. All right, when we come back, we will get back to Nebraska football. If someone calls in, we will do Carriker's Trivia Challenge as well. Take on yours truly. Call into that number, but we will. Dylan RAIOLA. Is it realistic? Is it fair to expect him to be a top 5 Big Ten quarterback? Does he need to in order to validate the high expectations that people have of him? Also, Trae Taylor. All right, recently committed Nebraska quarterback, doing some peer recruiting. We will dive into those things when we come back.
93.7 The Ticket is your home for every Kansas City Royals baseball game. Bobby Witt Jr., Salvador Perez, Vinny Pasquantino, and the rest of the Royals attempt to make the postseason for the second season in a row. And you can hear all the action on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Your home for Kansas City Royals baseball.
Your new Total Wine in Lincoln has the largest selection of wines, spirits, and beers, plus totally low prices and friendly service from our helpful guides. With over 8,000 wines, 4,500 spirits, and 2,500 beers, you're sure to find your favorites and something new. You can even order delivery, in-store, or curbside pickup. Find what you love what you find, only at Total Wine and More. Now open in Lincoln next to Gateway Mall.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills Global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more. Spring sports are here and it's time to upgrade your equipment. But don't go rushing to your big box store. Play It Again Sports is your place to go for all spring sports equipment for baseball, softball, golf, and disc golf. Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And don't forget, buying from them is a great way to get new products with great discounts by also bringing in your used items for store credit or cash on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Roses are red, violets are blue. You should treat mom to some barbecue. At Hog Wild Pit Barbecue, we think award-winning moms deserve award-winning barbecue without having to lift a finger. We invite you and your family to gather around our table on Mother's Day for Hog Wild slow smoke favorites, or place an order to go online at gohogwild.com for a spring picnic where mom is the guest of honor. We look forward to seeing you this Mother's Day. Hog Wild Pit Barbecue, 3210 Cornhusker Highway in Lincoln.
John Henry's has a brand new membership club to protect your entire home in one program. With a VIP and a deluxe option, we will help you find the plan that best fits your needs. Receive discounts on services and equipment, priority service, complimentary inspections, and so much more. Protect your home's plumbing, heating, cooling, and electrical systems all in one membership. Call John Henry's to learn more.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
And electrical.
The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Authentic Mexican food is not always easy to find, but you can find it in Lincoln at Tacos Los Hermanos. Their birria tacos are worth the drive from anywhere in town, but their chicken, chorizo, al pastor, and asada tacos are also worth the trip. You can also try any of those meats in a burrito or quesadilla. You won't find a better toppings bar in the area or better dessert options. If you can't get there, don't worry, they do deliver as well. Stop by Tacos Los Hermanos for lunch or dinner today at 70th and Havelock Streets in Lincoln. Memorial Day is coming up quickly, and you know what that means. Grilling season. You know what's more embarrassing than an overcooked piece of meat? A dirty, disgusting, and grimy grill. Let the pros at Husker Grill Cleaning get you ready for grilling season. They'll take your grill apart piece by piece, scrub every inch, and reassemble it so your grill can look and perform its best. Visit their website at huskergrillcleaning.com today to schedule your appointment. Husker Grill Cleaning, serving Lincoln, Omaha, Malcolm, and more.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Cobble Chevrolet GMC, and they're having the biggest hail sale they've ever had. A huge opportunity is at your front door right now. Some of these cars we're fixing, some we're not, and some it's totally up to you. New Sierra starting at $15,000 off list. New Canyons at $8,500 off list. New body styles on the Acadias, $3,000 off list. You need to hurry as there's going to be a lot of people heading to Louisville. Check us out at cobblecars.com. Stock numbers G121492, G187747, and G196599.
You're listening to the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, Jake, right off the top, I'm looking at a thing right now. Big Ten's Elite ranking the top 5 quarterbacks for 2025. At number 5 is Dylan Raiola. As you go up and down the list, number 4, Fernando Mendoza for Indiana. For those who are maybe a little unfamiliar with Mr. Mendoza, he is a Cal transfer. Threw for over 3,000 yards a year ago, 16 touchdowns. All right, completed 69% of his passes. Number 3 is Desmond Williams Jr., a guy who was another true freshman last year. And he had 2 starts, all right, and in the Sun Bowl, all right, true freshman Desmond Williams put together a breakout performance in just his second start. Williams totaled 422 yards and 5 touchdowns. He should be one of the top quarterbacks in the country next season. Number 2, I think 2 and 1 were fairly easy to predict. Luke Altmaier out of Illinois. All right, this is a guy who was a 4-star out of high school, really struggled to take care of the ball 2 years ago, played really good football last year. Again, they lost their 2 top receivers. They brought in a guy through the transfer portal. How well will they be able to throw the ball this year? All right. I looked it up. It was over 1,000 yards receiving, like 14 touchdowns, and over 100 receptions between those 2 guys. Now, they brought in guys to replace them. How well will they gel? But Luke Altmaier, quarterback at Illinois, is number 2. Number 1 is Drew Aller. I feel like that one was pretty easy to anticipate. There's not a lot of returning quarterbacks in the Big Ten. It's a whole lot of new faces, new starters. The 2 main guys that are returning, unless I'm missing somebody, are Drew Aller, 3-year starter at Penn State, and Luke Altmaier, 3-year starter at Illinois. And one of the major reasons that Illinois is considered to be a potential college football playoff team. But come back to Dylan Raiola at number 5. What are your thoughts on, as we sit here in May, him being number 5 on this list, Jake? I've talked about, I feel like a realistic goal for Dylan this year would be some type of all Big Ten honors. It doesn't have to be first team, second team, doesn't mean it can't be, but third team, honorable mention, something along those lines I think is incredibly fair to expect out of a guy like Dylan with his intellect, with his talent, now with his experience. Again, he's thrown more passes, played more snaps than any other true freshman in America. Okay, even the true freshman that, according to this list, we'll see how this plays out. Desmond Williams Jr. at Washington was a true freshman, but he didn't play as much as Dylan did last year. What are your thoughts on what's fair to expect and what should we expect from Dylan as potentially being a top 5 Big Ten quarterback this year?
Well, I think that's a good aim, obviously, to get up into there. Like you said, there are really 2 that stand up above everybody else at this point in time, but there's a good group of guys that, names that you kind of mentioned there that you don't initially think of that might be along with Dylan kind of vying for those, 3 through 5 positions. I immediately think of the new guy in town, Nico Iamaleava, who's over there at UCLA, is a guy that's going to be an up and comer. And then, there's Jaden Mayava at USC. There's some good names of guys that look to make their move this year. But it is certainly going to be important for Dylan to be able to do that. Maybe look more like he did the first half of last year compared to the second half, though they did finish with winning 2 of the final 3 games. But certainly, he's a quarterback, and no matter how good you are at quarterback, if you're a pocket passer, you're going to need a lot of help on your team. And so you're going to need help from the running game, the wide receivers, the offensive line. And so I hope Nebraska has done enough to get that sort of that help around him. But there's also going to be times, like we've said before, where maybe the running game isn't working or there's something going on where you kind of have to be Superman and get your team over and be the reason that you win that game. So that's what I kind of want to see, is obviously taking those strides forward. Hopefully you've got better surrounding cast, which can kind of make the whole thing look a little bit prettier. But at a certain time, and maybe a game or 2, be the reason you win. Be the guy that steps up, takes a big hit in the pocket. Maybe your protection's not the best, but you deliver a great pass downfield that springs open a big game. Those type of moments, that's what we expect. That's what should be expected out of Dylan Raiola going into year 2. Like you said, you've been saying all offseason, last year's a freshman, so you have these different expectations of him. Now, dude, you've been everywhere. I mean, it's all kind of gone according to plan as far as bringing you in and getting you exposure. At a certain point, that exposure needs to be from highlights on SportsCenter rather than showing up on Monday Night Raw or something, according to that.
I think Jaden Mayava of USC is a guy to keep your eye on. I think Nico Iamaleava, it's so interesting because he's not listed, as one of the top 5 preseason Big Ten quarterbacks, yet I've seen multiple lists that have him as a projected first-round draft pick in the next NFL draft, which is kind of crazy. It tells you when it comes to Nico, his potential and his talent and ability. It also tells you how that compares to what he's actually done so far. And they're kind of two different boats, so to speak. When it comes to Dylan, I'm not in the camp that I'm going to come out and say he needs to be an All-American, needs to be first-team All-Big Ten, needs to be a Heisman Trophy candidate. A year from now, I will probably be saying those things. And I think that would be fair to say with the expectations, the hype, and everything that's coming around him. But like I said, you can't just zoom around things. You got to go through them, especially when it comes to improving, getting better, gaining experience. He's put time into the weight room, into getting bigger, faster, stronger, working on his footwork this offseason. Clearly has an understanding of the playbook. Holgorsen has talked about multiple times. He'll be saying the play, and Raiola will just go ahead and finish the play before he finishes it. And I do think Holgorsen, he took the time to learn the playbook terminology that Nebraska already had. In his mind, it was easier for one person to learn it than it was for an entire team of younger individuals who don't have the experience he does to learn a new playbook and new terminology. So I guarantee that helped the players. Whereas Holgorsen kind of took on the challenge of, I'm going to learn your terminology while we put in my offense. And I guarantee that helps speed up that learning curve. When it comes to, and you make a great point, like if Dylan really wants to endear himself to the fans, and winning football games is the number one thing that's going to do that. But you kind of look for that. Again, I'm not going like Heisman moment. Let's wait a year for that, okay? Like defining moment. That moment where it's third down, he takes off and he lowers the shoulder and runs over somebody. Or he does the old, John Elway was 37 when he did the helicopter spin thing against Green Bay in the Super Bowl. That defining moment, whether it's a toughness moment, whether it's a 4th and 15 and you make a couple guys miss who come free on a blitz, or whether it's a 4th and 15 and maybe you got a clean pocket and you hit the guy, for the first down, a receiver, a Harburg, a whoever, Emmett Johnson for a first down in a clutch situation in a big moment in a big game. Like those are the types of things that really endear a player to the team, to fans, things of that nature. And he's going to have opportunities to do that. Nebraska's in a lot of close games, as we know, 6-1 score games last year. All right. And there's going to be opportunities to do things like that. And those are the types of things that would get me really, really excited. And I think you make a great point about the supporting cast. At the end of the day, it's nice when you can lean on your quarterback a little bit. Like, what's supposed to be the strength of your team? If you're the Pittsburgh Steelers for years, it's defense, it's running the ball. So you're going to lean on your defense and you're going to lean on running the ball in big games in important, tight situations. I would like to think that Dylan Raiola is supposed to be a strength of the Nebraska football team. So in a big game, in a tight situation, in a crucial moment, it'd be nice to be able to kind of lean on Dylan Raiola. Because I do think they brought in guys around him, Dane Keat and Isaiah Hunter to everyone else that we've talked about throughout the offseason, upgraded the offensive line up front. You've got guys coming back who've started for Nebraska in the past who may not start this year due to players that they brought in, some of them due to injury, and I'm excited to see how they come back from those particular injuries. When you look at Prohaska and Corcoran, and I know they've been busting their butts to try to get back and healthy and hopefully make an impact, start, compete, whatever the case may be. But they brought in pieces around Dylan. I'm still curious to see if they add anything or anyone to the running back room at any point. We'll see what happens there. But you brought up the point of what's around him. You posed the question, so I'll pose the question to you so you can give the answer. Have they brought in enough around Dylan Raiola?
Again, in the wide receiver unit, you certainly think so, but it's interesting to see how much of it can go away pretty quickly, right? I mean, there is upside maybe in having Heinrich Harburg at tight end and Luke Lindenmeyer back, but Thomas Benoni, that was your first tight end Nebraska's had drafted since Tracy Wistrom.
Mhm.
So are you better there? We'll have to see. Maybe NFL draft doesn't necessarily equate what you're going to bring to the field. So that's interesting. And then the other thing again is the coaching staff seems to be less fearful of it than I am. But an Emmett Johnson injury, and all of a sudden, what do you have around him? And so that's why I kind of think I think they brought in better skill position players to get more weapons around him, but that running back room still, to me, just if you get an injury to Emmett Johnson or for some reason he's less effective, then you're going to have to start slinging the ball around quite a bit. And so you got a good group, but is it a good group when the defense knows you're passing?
So that's an interesting question. God forbid Emmett gets hurt. He's out. Let's say in this hypothetical world, November. I mean, it's the games to remember are played in November, right? And then we're taking on USC and UCLA and Penn State and Iowa. It is a difficult stretch. It is an important stretch. Let's say Emmett's out. They expect big things out of Quentin Ives. Maybe somebody does or doesn't step up as another running back option. Would you feel comfortable leaning on Dylan Raiola? Cold weather in November as well, by the way, as we all know. Would you feel comfortable at that point? And obviously we will have had 8 games to analyze that we don't have now. But at that point saying, hey, Dylan, we're going to lean on you to carry us through this important month, these difficult games, and these tight, close games that we expect to be in. And we've got to lean on you. You've got to be the guy. Would you feel comfortable with what we know right now, which is obviously incomplete at this moment in time? But what are your thoughts at this moment?
I'm not since what we saw at the end of last year. I don't think that would be a recipe for too much success. Again, hopefully they take those strides. You get to a point where you could feel better about him. I think he threw close to 30 passes a game last year. If you kind of amp that up to closer to 40, if you don't have much of a running game, based on what we saw last year, I mean, he was just struggling down the stretch, as we know. And so that's the last time we saw him. I would say that I wouldn't be quite as comfortable with that at this point. But again, that's where you hope that jump is made this offseason to get comfortable, because I mean, that could be troublesome. We saw toward the end of last year, remember, they scored 20 against Boston College, 10 against Iowa. The Wisconsin game, of course, they got the big win, but USC, UCLA, 20 points there. So in 4 of those 5 games, you're having a trouble getting to 20 points. They didn't exactly finish strong enough to make me think that, the momentum is going to be rolling over and the offense is buzzing and all of that.
I did go through it. I looked at the last 3 games. I took USC out of the equation because Holgorsen had literally just walked through the door. So I gave him a whole nother week before I started judging stats, because that's all we had to work with, honestly. He did complete, it was almost 72% of his passes in those last 3 games. So we'll see. I'm curious to see what happens when they have a whole offseason to gel. I mean, Dane Key, let me see. I had that pulled up here. I might have accidentally clicked out of it. Dane Key actually talked about he spent his spring break with Dylan Raiola, trying to build that chemistry, build that rapport. All right, get in sync. I will never forget when Robert was first, RG3 was first drafted to Washington. There's about a 5-week break from the end of OTAs, organized team activities, in mid-June to when you start camp at the end of July, early August. And Santana Moss, who was like a 12-year vet, went down to Waco. Robert obviously played at Baylor, and that's where he lived in the offseason at that point in time. I don't know where he is now, where he lives full-time. But Santana flew a bunch of the wide receivers down there to go where Robert is. You got to keep in mind, Robert hadn't taken a snap. He can be a rookie. But he went down there so they could spend time together, building that rapport, running routes together, throwing balls, just spending time getting to know each other and building chemistry. So that's very, very important. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see how it plays out. All right. I don't like that scenario where Emmett gets hurt. So we're going to get rid of that scenario. We're going to act like I never threw that out there. And I'm excited to see what Emmett Johnson can do as a whole, as an overall whole this year as well. When we come back, well, real quick, So, Frederick Leo Curtis, the basketball player, the recent commit for Nebraska basketball. Did you know he's the second highest rated commit that Nebraska basketball has ever had coming out of high school?
I did not know that. Did not realize that.
I thought that was very interesting. I tell you, we're going to win the Natty next year in basketball. I'm just telling you, Jake, I'm getting hyped. All right, ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Take control of your health with the DASH scan at Advanced Medical Imaging. The DASH scan is a full-body MRI designed for advanced health screening. This dynamic approach provides exceptionally sharp images across multiple organ systems, helping to detect potential concerns early. With minimal radiation and no invasive procedures, the DASH scan offers a safe, comprehensive look at your health. Plus, results are delivered faster than ever, giving both patients and physicians confidence in screening and diagnosis. Your health is too important to wait. Schedule your DASH scan today at Advanced Medical Imaging. Visit amimaging.com or call 402-484-6677 to learn more.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs, from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
You grew up on cereal for breakfast and you graduated into drinking coffee at some point as an adult. Now there's a place in Lincoln where you can stay caffeinated but eat like you used to. Control Coffee and Cereal Bar brings Saturday morning vibes to every day with locally roasted specialty coffees, Lotus energy drinks, and tons of breakfast cereals with toppings. And did we mention they have video games to play while you're there too? Control Coffee and Cereal Bar open 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday and 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. on the weekends at 15th and Pine Lake.
Midwest Bank is now hiring in Lincoln. They have multiple banking positions open and are looking for dynamic individuals passionate about helping others and building relationships. With a family-friendly culture, competitive benefits, and unique perks, Midwest Bank is a great place to start a new career. Apply today at midwest.bank. Midwest Bank is an equal opportunity employer, member FDIC.
Why are some people more successful? Is it talent and determination, or did they recognize an opportunity? Discover a career that lets you help families reach their financial goals as you build lasting professional relationships. One with unlimited income potential. From Modern Woodman, a leading fraternal financial services provider.
I'm Modern Woodman Regional Director Sean Erickson. Call me at 402-483-6515 to learn about career opportunities.
Modern Woodman of America. Touching lives, securing futures.
A lot of businesses say they're family focused, but when tough situations in life arise, the business wants anything but your best interests. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring, and they will always treat their employees like family, just as they do their customers. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring Class A and B CDL drivers, a shop tech, and a diesel mechanic. If you're looking for a career with a company that goes above and beyond to value you and your family, apply today at jamesenterpriseinc.com or call 402-432-6740.
Step into healing at Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery. Our team of top-notch medical professionals turns pain into progress with state-of-the-art treatments and compassionate care. Visit prairieortho.com and discover the difference in quality orthopedic and plastic surgery services tailored to your unique needs. Your health matters, and Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery is dedicated to helping you thrive. Reach your full potential. Embrace a better tomorrow with Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
At Valentino's, we're on a mission for tradition. On every slice, for every bite. Golden baked crust, cooked to perfection every time. savory sweet sauce that's made from our own secret recipe. Loaded with the perfect amount of fresh toppings and melty mozzarella cheese. It's the tradition that Nebraskans have come to love. From game day to every day. Valentino's. Taste the tradition.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstorats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
You're listening to the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Boom! Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. Ladies and gentlemen, the Vatican has a new face. We have a new pope. Jake, tell us more.
Well, I don't know a whole lot more, but I do know that Robert Francis Prevost, so that might be the way to say it. Anyway, he's going to be known by Leo. So Pope Leo has been elected the first American in history to be Pope.
USA, USA, USA.
That's right.
All right. And you made a good point during the break, going back to the quarterback conversation that we had a little bit ago. We didn't mention Ohio State's quarterback, projected starters, Julian Sain. Nobody's been specifically named the starter there. And then Dante Moore, the highly touted high school recruiter, went to UCLA, transferred to Oregon, sat behind Dylan Gabriel last year. We didn't even bring up their names. To me, it's almost crazy how many talented quarterbacks there are, but so many question marks as well. All right, Trae Taylor talks his Nebraska football commitment, but peer recruiting. All right, the 2027 quarterback says he has, and I quote, a ton of work to do, end quote, in peer recruiting, and is targeting, and I quote, about 10 guys on both sides of the ball, end quote. All right. As we all know, Nebraska picked up the commitment of Trae Taylor within the past week or so. He was their top quarterback target for the 2027 recruiting class. All right. They've been working on him, recruiting him, I should say, for about a year now, since last year when he visited and had the chance to meet with the staff and current starting quarterback Dylan RAIOLA, who actually reached out to him after he committed to Nebraska. That was cool to see. All right. As we know, he committed to Nebraska, choosing the Huskers over Illinois, LSU, and several other schools as well. Something he talked about that he'd been dreaming about since he got his first recruitment letter when he was in 7th grade. I said, and I quote, it's been a little crazy, but I'm loving life and feeling like the world has been lifted off my shoulder, end quote. All right. He has talked about now, he's really starting to peer recruit. As I mentioned earlier in one of his quotes, 10 guys on both sides of the ball. It's about 20 players. I remember talking about Daniel Kalin peer recruiting. You remember that? When he committed here, and then he really kind of held that class together and then helped bring some more guys in as well. All right. Let's see. Taylor did break down what it means to him now that he is a Cornhusker commit, even though he's still figuring some things out. He said, I really don't know everything yet, but I think the more I get to interact with the fan base, you get a good feeling. And in about a week or so, I plan to really start engaging with them, end quote. But he also didn't waste any time peer recruiting, as he has already said he has a list of guys he is targeting, such as Jameer Brown, Ontavious Ellis, and Ahmad Hudson, to name just a few. Again, he reiterated he feels like he has a ton of work to do, helping to recruit these guys, getting them to come in with him. About 10 guys on the offensive side of the ball, about 10 guys on the defensive side of the ball. So when you hear these types of things, what enters your head, Jake? What do you think of these things when you hear about the peer recruiting, and he feels like it's almost his job to help recruit other players within his own class?
Well, it's fantastic. I mean, because I did wonder why commit after your sophomore year, right? Like, why not wait it out? We've seen so many of these guys. That's part of the reason why, as a Husker fan, it's tough. How excited do you get? Because we've seen some of these guys maybe commit to 2 or 3 schools, Dylan Raiola included, before they kind of make their final choice. This is the benefit to it. If you are going to try to take over college football, and you've got years till you get there, to peer recruit and to try to build the best class that you can get. And that would have helped if Dylan was able to. And of course, everybody does things on their own time. He kind of had to make the decision he did. We're all happy that he got here. But if he was able to commit when he committed to Ohio State or when he committed to Georgia and then peer recruit, I think we would have seen a few more kind of big-time names come in. We saw big-time names interested after Dylan, but we always kind of come in second and third there. I shouldn't say always, but most of the time. And so, this is just huge. You've got years to do it. If I'm committed and I don't go to college for the next 2 years, you still can try to think, how do I make it better once I get there? And this is the obvious way. Now, if he gets 20 guys, then they might have to hire him as a recruiter in general, because that's basically the whole class.
Give him a bonus, right?
Yeah.
I was starting to wonder if this is kind of a new wave in college football. It's not like everywhere yet, especially with everybody going all sorts of different places. But if things start to settle down and we start to get some more answers and players aren't bouncing around from team to team and college to college as much as some players are right now. If you get things to be a little bit more concrete, okay, and like, hey, this player is going to be here for the next 2 or 3 years. Like, there's a 95% chance of that. There's always outliers, but like we get back to college football where like a guy commits from high school, the odds are he's going to stay. He's going to stay with you until he goes pro, graduates, or whatever the case may be. I could see a wave or world in college football where you see more and more of this. You see an exciting commit, a top commit, a quarterback commit, however you want to look at it, player commit early in high school, and then he starts to peer recruit other players to come as well, because NIL is going to be a factor, revenue sharing is going to be a factor, your individual contract is going to be a factor. But at the end of the day, players do want to win games, and they do want to compete for championships. And if players are like, hey, my buddy's going here, or this really good player's going here, and we vibe a little bit, maybe that could be a new wave in the future of college football. And maybe Mr. Taylor's just a little bit ahead of the curve. You see it here and there. Dylan has done it a ton with guys in the transfer portal. He's done as much or more to help recruit guys in the transfer portal than just about any other player in college football at any other program in America. Maybe if things become a little bit more solidified and guys coming out of high school tend to stay at colleges longer, maybe you start to see this, because guys are getting offered earlier and earlier than they've ever been in high school. All right. And players are coming out of high school ready to play earlier and earlier in college than they ever have. It used to be like 90% of guys would redshirt or something like that. Now, if you redshirt, it's not a bad thing, but it's definitely not the norm. So maybe you start to see more and more of this type of peer recruiting in the future going forward. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. It's such a weird time because, like you said, the transfer portal's still open. We're still trying to figure. I mean, when I say a weird time, I mean from day to day, because we're still trying to figure out what's kind of going on with the House versus the NCAA. Notre Dame's athletic director came out today and says that they're going to be the first school that will honor roster spots for all current athletes and permit those who were cut this year to return. So kind of looking at that 105 roster spot that doesn't seem to be hitting college football, at least Notre Dame's planning on it not happening this year. So it's just kind of interesting still to kind of balance throughout that. But I mean, the high schoolers on the high school recruiting end kind of got to fight for your spot for relevance. It's not just like, you know, the lead stories or whatever too. It's like on the team. I mean, it's going to be tough for a lot of these freshmen to come in and compete. So if you can kind of make some noise, make your class stand out, as opposed to just kind of being a standard class here, and then everybody's kind of focused on the transfer portal. You know, I think that could be something to get people going. And then, but it's just hard because Matt Rule, that was kind of his idea coming in, is we're going to build it from the ground up, and he even had to pivot. So I don't know how many schools out there are going to go, you know, we're going to build primarily from high school recruiting. You know, Clemson might come to mind, but there's not a whole lot of them.
I forgot we have that clip. We got to play a clip tomorrow. There's a national pundit out there who thinks Clemson will win the national title. I was surprised to hear that. Remind me tomorrow if I forget. We got to roll that clip. All right. Yeah. And do that tomorrow. So yeah, it's always going to be a mix of the portal and high school recruiting going forward. I think the emphasis is definitely more on the portal now. Can we get back to where there's more emphasis on high school recruiting? Let's be honest. If you're in the youth sports world at all, everybody is always trying to get together to create these really, really good teams. I could see that filtering up into college athletics as well. All right, ladies and gentlemen, have a phenomenal day. Go Big Red Nose. Remember to throw the bugs.
Take control of your health with the DASH scan at Advanced Medical Imaging. The DASH scan is a full-body MRI designed for advanced health screening. This dynamic approach provides exceptionally sharp images across multiple organ systems, helping to detect potential concerns early. With minimal radiation and no invasive procedures, the DASH scan offers a safe